States determine your life. Think of a state like a radio station that you are tuning into. If that's strange to you in this time of streaming platforms, then think of any show on Netflix. Now, pretend that each show is a state. There's a Wednesday state, a Stranger Things state, a Virgin River state, etc. Each episode is a part of that state that you become immersed with. Think of this as embodying a state. You are stepping into that state or tuning into that program or radio station. As the story unfolds, along with the images, you begin to become more engrossed in what you've tuned into. So you start identifying with the different characters, you identify with what's happening in the story, and if it's a great show, you may even start resonating with one of the characters. All of this is embodiment. Now, let's suspend disbelief for a few minutes and pretend that Netflix is actually your life, and there are an infinite number of shows or states to embody. Those might include love, wealth, health, but also, because there's no separation, there's lack, rejection, and disease. You can choose among those. So let's say that you want to embody or stream, for this example, the state of love. So you choose that from the infinite library of possibilities. Your mind is automatically going to start to conjure up images and or thoughts, if you have aphantasia, thoughts perhaps, and feelings that signify what love means to you. I am, aka your consciousness, is accepting that as you are doing this exercise. Maybe you might start to smile, or maybe you'll start to feel tingles around your body or butterflies in your stomach. Maybe you just feel incredibly happy, lucky, relieved, whatever the case may be. And then what happens? Ego steps in to ruin the day. Ego starts throwing thoughts at you like, that'll never happen, or they said they weren't into you like that, or they're already in a relationship with someone else and they're happy. It's selfish to want someone who's with someone else, or even they said they hated you, wanted nothing to do with you. The answer to all of that nonsense from ego is quite simply, no thanks. And you redirect your focus and awareness to what you prefer to experience in imagination, in your mind. You repeat the process as often as is needed, as is necessary, because ego is ultimately not the great consciousness. I am is, or in your case, your I am is the one deciding. Ego doesn't have a say unless you allow it to say something and to derail you. That's where wavering comes from. That's where, especially in love relationships and specific person, romantic specific person manifestations, that's where hot and cold behavior comes from. It's from that, from letting ego derail your awareness. So don't do that, because I am is who you are at your very core. You are that pure consciousness. So you might as well just accept and get used to ego doing this, because first of all, it's part of its job. And second, every single time that you assume a new identity, a new state, that identity and state comes with its own ego. So there's no escaping it anyway. You can learn to manage it though. And you do that by consciously redirecting where it is that you want to put your I am awareness on. So the only way to rise in consciousness is to not let ego convince you that something is impossible, because it's not true. So let's move on and say that you've had your fill of love, you're good in that department, and now you want to move on to manifesting other things. So you want to watch a different show. Let's continue with the whole Netflix analogy. And let's say that you want to watch a show called Wealth, right? So the cycle repeats itself, and you're gonna get either images and or thoughts and feelings that begin to signal to your I am what you consider to be wealth. So there is no right or wrong way to do this. It's personalized to the individual consciousness. So that's the reason why no two people ever will have identical experiences. They can be incredibly similar, but there will be differences because we're each having individual, unique experiences of I am as this avatar, the human self that we are on this planet living as. And so let's say for one person, wealth probably means owning luxury homes, luxury vehicles, taking luxury vacations, having luxurious possessions. Basically, it's a great deal of opulence, right? And to them, that's what wealth means, right? While to another person, wealth might mean living in a comfortable home, having plenty of money left over to enjoy, and they don't really need or desire that extreme level of opulence or luxury. Neither one is wrong, and neither one is better or less than the other. They are the same manifestation of wealth. The only difference is that it's being experienced, it's being perceived differently based on the individual I am consciousness. So the only one who can determine if something is good or bad is you as the observer, which is another name for I am. It's all you anyway, and the meaning that you choose to give it. You're choosing. Creation is finished. You cannot extract anything from the absolute because it wouldn't be the absolute otherwise. That's why it all depends on you as the focalized, individualized portion of consciousness and the meaning that you are giving to things. So I hope that everyone is with me so far. I know it's a little bit trippy, but I'm doing my best to make this as simple as I possibly can so that you understand me. So let's go back to the state of love. We want to stream love in our lives, right? So let's select that state. But now our eyes, our human eyes, are perceiving the opposite of what we want in our world. Let's say that your person is possibly leaving you for someone else. Or your person tells you in the 3D that they never want to be with you, they don't love you anymore, or they never loved you, whatever. All of the crappy things that you don't want to experience, okay? So your first instinct is to have a knee-jerk reaction and freak out and wonder, why did this happen? What changed? What did I do wrong? The only thing that happened, there's no need to panic, there's no need to freak out. The only thing that happened is that your I am accidentally selected lack of love instead of love. And where your attention or awareness or consciousness goes, that's where I am goes. And the 3D human you follows to have that experience. That's all that's happening. But if it's not what you want, ultimately, then choose again. That's all you've got to do. And you choose unapologetically. You don't make any excuses for your choices. You don't need approval. You don't need permission. You don't need validation. It's all you anyway. So don't give your power away. Step back into your power and realize that you have nothing to fear. You are not taking anything or anyone away from anybody else. All you're doing is selecting, choosing consciously to have a different experience, the one that you prefer to have. And you are giving it to yourself in imagination. Now, you may argue that, but it's in my imagination. I want to have that experience in real life. I want to actually be with this person. I want to live with them, marry them, whatever it is that you want to have. I want to have a relationship, a life together, and all of this stuff. You can have that, but nothing can be brought forth in the 3D that was not first given life in imagination. Period. Point blank, period. Go back and repeat that to yourself. Rewind this audio and listen to that again. Nothing can be brought forth in the 3D that was not first given life in imagination. And mind you, this applies to both good things and bad things. Love did not leave. It is still there. The only difference is that, like all the other states, it's currently dormant until you select it, until you choose to embody it again. Be patient with yourself. Be patient also with your 3D, because you are rewiring your neural pathways. And yes, you are God, you are the all that is, but you're also the human you. You're all this mixed into one being. So please, for your own sanity, be very, very gentle and patient with yourself. First and foremost, remember, I said it recently in another video, you are always at the top of the pyramid in your reality bubble. It is you and all about you. All right? So, the same thing goes with wealth, health, any other desire that you wish to have, that you wish to experience. You must first have the consciousness of it in order to have it. And once you are conscious of it, the 3D has no choice but to bring it to you. I don't care what it is. I don't care how young or how old you are. The law works objectively 100% of the time for everything, for anything, for anyone. Nobody is exempt. Think about it like gravity. Why aren't we all just floating around planet Earth? Because gravity keeps us on terra firma, yes? Well, this works the same way, okay? And if you don't believe, you don't have to believe me. I'm not asking you to believe me. I'm saying test it, just like everyone else in this community says often, test it for yourself. Now, the way that I look at 3D sometimes, especially lately, is I like to think of 3D if it's, I'm just moving and grooving through my life. I think of it a little bit like scrolling on social media while Netflix is streaming in the background. Or, if you prefer to have the radio analogy, you've got a song playing in the background, but your awareness is not fully on that. It is in between multiple things, okay? When it comes to the law of assumption, your awareness is your biggest currency. Let me say that again. When it comes to the law of assumption, your awareness is your biggest currency. So don't squander it. You need to become so laser focused on what you see in your mind that reality has no choice but to bring you that very same experience. And it'll do it in the best, fastest way possible. Now, you need to make peace with the fact that no matter how much you try, you're never going to figure it out. You're just never going to figure it out. And I think personally that that's actually a good thing, because as humans, we're also conditioned to try to fix things. We like to stick our fingers in the pot to try to expedite the process, but that's not our job. The how and the when is not our job. All that's required of us is to identify our desires, assume that they are ours the moment we have accepted them in consciousness, and then realize that we're instantly on that timeline, and everything that happens, from, I don't care what it is, the most mundane thing. You could be stopping through a fast food drive-through for a quick lunch on your work break or lunch break, whatever. You can be going to the grocery store. You can be shoe shopping for your sister-in-law's puppy, whatever, upcoming birthday. It doesn't matter. Everything is a part of your personal unfolding to that specific desire, or if you're manifesting multiple things at once, to those desires. You're on that timeline, because the only thing that is required is that you made the decision and then you stuck to that decision. That's it. I promise you, even if this sounds ridiculous, but if you stick to your end, to that being your outcome, that you have everything that you want, you're going to have what you want. You are. Even if you have an off day, return to your decision. Even if you have a crap day, return to your decision. If you are happy, fantastic. It's easy to stay in your decision. But give everything, no matter how big or how small or how insignificant it is, the meaning that it's showing you that you're getting exactly what you want. Give everything that meaning. I don't care what it is. I got a red light, I'm getting my desire. I got a green light, I'm getting my desire. I'm at a stoplight, a stop sign, I'm getting my desire. I spilled ketchup on the floor, I'm getting my desire. A bird pooped on my shoulder, I'm getting my desire. Do you see where I'm going? You stick to that and you do not deviate no matter what is happening in front of you, because the fact of the matter is that your higher self was on the job the minute that you decided, I want that, I shall have that. And you accepted it in consciousness first. Everything is born from consciousness first. And then we experience it in our 3Ds. Why is all of this important? Because the state controls it all. Everything you do or don't do is governed by the state that you are occupying dominantly. Okay? So you are either stepping into your ideal self and the life that you want, the life of your dreams, or you are falling back to old habits and not catching yourself when you do. Let me say this, it does not matter how long you've fallen out of the state of the person who has everything that they want, because the only thing that you have to do to get back on that timeline is decide that you already are that person, period. If you decide that you're a winner, no matter what you do, your mind, your mental chatter, everything is inside of you is saying, all I do is win, all I do is win, like that song. You're going to get evidence in your 3D to prove that it's true. You're going to start to see it. Instantly, you will start to see it. You may not associate that that's what's happening right away, but I promise you, when you start to practice putting your attention, your awareness on even the little things that resemble somewhat of your desire, you're going to start to see it. That's movement. And movement happens instantly. It's all of the damn time, all the time. Even the little things, even if it doesn't seem like movement, I'm telling you, tell yourself that it's movement. You have that authority because you are source. That's who you are. So trust your higher self, the God in you, as Reverend Ike would say, source, universe. It doesn't matter what you call it. I don't care what you call it. It's irrelevant what you call it. But your higher self knows the exact path to your goal. Your human self does not need to do anything other than decide that whatever it was you saw in your mind is as real as the ground you're currently standing on, if you're standing. The chair, couch, or bed, floor, whatever it is that you're sitting or lying on, anything that is tangible in 3D was once in someone's imagination until it became something another person could touch, feel, and in my example, use. So with that trust also comes surrender. Those two are like besties. Know that even if things appear to you with your human eyeballs, your human perception, as unfavorable, realize that you have a decision to make in that moment. You can either back down and say, well, it's not working, I don't see it, blah, blah, blah. I am does not care. I am says, okay, all right, boss, it's not working. Here's some more evidence of it not working. But if you decide, I don't care if it appears like nothing is happening or like it is not working, everything is going to work out for me somehow, some way, and I don't have to worry about it anymore. That's what turning the other cheek means. Remember, I'm going to repeat this in this video, and I'm probably going to say it again over and over. Awareness is your biggest currency. So don't put your awareness on what you don't want. I can't emphasize that strongly enough. Make sure that you listen to this as many times as it's necessary until it sinks in. Do script lines in a notebook, in your journal, wherever, if you need to do that, so that it begins to really sink into your head, okay? Your human self's belief, no matter how innocent or how helpful it tries to be, your human self can do nothing. You can do nothing. I and my Father are one, but my Father is greater than I. Leave your human self alone. Allow I am, your I am, to work for you, through you. And I promise, as you continue to boldly assume that you already have all of your desires, because you do, remember, it must first, any desire must first exist in consciousness. It must first be given life in consciousness so that then it can be outpictured in the screen of space. Okay? No matter what you do, reality has no choice but to give it to you, because that is your divine authority. That is who you are. So claim that. Make it as easy as possible for yourself. And on that note, one final thing I'd like to add for today's video is the bridges of incidents that will unfold individually for everyone. They're not always going to be comfortable. They may not always make sense. And you are, some of you, or many of you, I don't know, but some of you might experience things that your human selves can't understand. That's when you go back to trust and surrender, because I am never makes a mistake and never is going to steer you wrong. Thank you so much for listening, and I will see you again in the next video, or talk to you again in the next video.